I think that in the last 3 years we did have some achievements in at least changing the direction of the situation in this battle. It's not getting worse now. It's stable.
For example, what sort of victory?
For example, I think that we made very clear that all those attempts to embarrass Israel with flotillas and flightillas and demonstrations along the borders and things like that, this is not going to work. And more or less they're giving up. I still think about other. We also made it clear to many people that the problem between us and the Palestinians is not necessarily Israel. I think more and more people understand it. We still have a lot for. As I said, it's a very big challenge. It's going to take time. But people now, it's not more people saying Israel is the problem. It's now stable. And in my mind, we shall be able to change because the good thing we have is that truth is on our side. But we have neglected the battlefield for such a long time that many people were already contaminated by the problematic messages that were sent into it. And now to uproot all those problems, it's going to take a long time. It's not easy. Not easy. But I see here and there a lot of people who were, take for example Goldstone. He was ready to believe. And I mean, he's not a bad person, I think. I don't know him personally. But he was ready to believe. Look how far we got. Because blackening Israel's picture is one of the major tools with which we are attacked. He was ready to believe that Israel intentionally launched an attack against the flour mills in Gaza in order to starve, to make the people of Gaza starve. I mean, you got to really be lunatic and totally ignorant of the way Israelis make war to believe that something like that can happen. And very vicious. You got to be a very vicious person to believe that Israelis will do that after everything they've been through. It's really incredible. And I'm saying it as somebody who was a day or two in the military and know this is no big deal. But Goldstone, Judge Goldstone, believed it. It took him about, I don't know, a year to realize that, well, you know what, something's wrong with this picture. What was it? Maybe I was misled. Maybe I was misled. And he wrote this piece in the Washington Post.
Right.
And I say, when somebody like Judge Goldstone wakes up and says to himself, maybe I was wrong, this is exactly what I'm looking for. I want to hear, I want Walter Mearsheimer to say, maybe we were wrong. I want Thomas Friedman to say, maybe I was wrong. And these are...
these people specifically?
Yes. I'm not saying he's a delegitimizer, he's a peace activist, he is a real peace activist, he wants to see peace. But he misunderstands the situation. And I would like very much to see him saying, you know, maybe I was wrong. Because, you know, he was ready to write things like Israel has a drunk driver and all kinds of terrible stuff that really, God knows, how is a person that is a Jew, loves Israel, cares about Israel, how can he write things like that? It's the outcome of this ongoing campaign. So I'm waiting for him also to change course. The sooner it happens, the better it is.
Okay.
This is the opportune time for those who don't wear uniform to give their contribution for the well-being and the strength of the state of Israel and the national security matter. And by sending the message to the audience of your blog, you can help people see the truth and understand it. Now I know how knowledgeable you are and how articulate you are. I think that this combination is critical for being effective. And this is a battle of ideas. And I think this is where you can come in and help. And we need so many, like Mao said, let 1,000 flowers blossom. That's what we need. And you are one of those 1,000 flowers.
Thank you.
And the more you blossom, the better it is.
Well, one of the frustrations, again, once you bring that up, but one of the frustrations that I know other bloggers have is very often we don't have the information to fight the untruths that are out there. There's there's something that happens. Human Rights Watch just comes out with a report saying that Israel did X number of separate attacks against civilians, and I have a little bit of information. I have a few places I can go, but I have very little primary information coming from the state of Israel.
As far as I know.
Yeah.
First of all, this is a problem that we have to deal with.
Yes.
Okay? If you say you have a problem, it's my problem.
Okay.
Secondly, we have established all kinds of forums and venues where you can reach us, and we should be more than happy to help you. I think the staff that we have for Hasbara, National Hasbara staff, is one of those venues where you can reach and given all the information you need.
Okay.
If you have any problems, let me know.
Okay.
I'm very fond of the idea of having the variety of bloggers who are involved in that, gathered once in a while to discuss the issues pertaining to the blogosphere.
Sure.
I know that blogs reach so many people today. Of course, we have to give the proper attention to these people. Whatever assistance we can provide you with, we should do it.
We'll definitely take you up with that.
The other side of it should be that when you're saying something, you don't do it in a way that will not properly deliver the message or the information you were given. Saying it because in these days we have the X story and I don't know whatever.
That's true. I mean, again, speaking for myself, I can only give what I can give. But I'm not going to. I don't even want to have the appearance of, oh, I'm saying this because the government's. If I see if something smells fishy on either side, I'm going to say it. Luckily, there have been relatively few times that anything that the Israeli government comes out with, almost never, that comes out with it. I say, this doesn't quite add up. It hardly ever happens.
You don't have to worry about that. It adds up. But but what you can bring in is your knowledge, your ability to put things in context. To say, okay, here we have this problem. This reminds me of something that happened in 1919, where, I don't know, and look at the similarity, and turn it into something interesting. Because what is one of the biggest problems we have? We control the information that is relevant to the current event. Okay? Nobody knows better than we do what's happening right now. That's where you need us.
Yes.
We don't have the people and we don't have the time, and it's not our expertise. I said before, everybody has its own expertise. Your expertise is to be able to put things in context, in a wider context, and to make it reach the mind and the heart of the reader. We are very dry because we don't know how to make it wet. You have to make it appealing. You have to make it emotionally breaking into the heart of your audience. That is some sort of a gift that you were given. But not only gifts, it's also some knowledge that you've acquired through the years. And when you put this dry information that we give you together with this other capabilities that you have, and then you turn it into something interesting, that's your job. I wish you luck, because we need to be much more effective. Just see today the number of films produced by people who are working against these systems. How they manage to take dry lies, not dry information, dry lies or half information, and turn it into something that is interesting and people go to see it. While we are still very too dry, too analytical.
Yes.
We have to be analytical, but also able to reach the hearts, the feelings of the audience.